Midwest, home sweet home in good old Indiana. Place of small towns, cozy families gather together, and fields of corn and rustic woods. But, like any town, there is a dark underbelly that often goes unnoted. We are part of that darkness. We lurk in the shadows to bring you the best in horror, metal, and stories of the grotesque. This is Blood in the Cornfields.
All right. Welcome in, Cellar Dwellers. Sorry, we're kind of rolling with some new things here going on.
Yeah, we're trying our hand at Discord.
Yes, that is very true.
Very different. I don't know what to expect. I know a couple of you suggested it or recommended it, and the comics, that's where we're at now. In the comments, when I did the poll, or we did the poll,
Yep.
for the movie for today, which again, that was between 3 different movies. We had Black Mold, The Stuff, and Terror Vision.
Yes, I'm a little disappointed the Stuff didn't get any. Like, flat 0, nothing.
Nobody wanted to watch The Stuff, apparently.
That's all right. I still do.
Yeah, we'll do it eventually at some other time. But Black Mold won, so that's what we're watching. Apparently, this is a very new film. I don't know too much about it, but I kind of like going into things blind.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. Just did a little bit of research on the movie itself. So it's a Tubi exclusive. I know that. We were kind of talking about that earlier. The director is from Kenosha, Wisconsin.
That's awesome.
Which is pretty interesting. And I was reading that he graduated in graphic design, but he's pursuing a career in film. And then one of the female actress, is actually from Chicago. So I thought that was kind of cool. She's an actor and burlesque dancer and stuff like that.
That's cool. And a Midwesterner.
Yes.
Even better.
Yes, absolutely. Before we get into it, you want to kind of like go and talk about what's been going on?
We'll talk about what's new. Why don't you go ahead and start first?
Okay, I'll go first. So one thing I wanted to plug real quick, some monster tours are coming up for metal/rock. Lamb of God is pairing with, it just lost and blanked my mind. Who are they pairing with? Hell, I just forgot. Sorry. Get on mic and then I forget. Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper are performing together. Lamb of God is pairing up with someone just as equally big. I will probably remember and shout it out at another time, but hey, we're doing something different on the fly, so I got a little nervous and forgot.
Yep, and you can tell Casper's in the background, very, very excited.
That's okay. When you talk about yours, I will research it, and then I will go back, and then we will plug the proper.
That works. I know we have a lot of parents that listen to this particular podcast, and we want to kind of promote and support another parent.
Yes.
So I actually was just, I recently became an ambassador for an alternative clothing brand called Feral Mama.
Which is cool. That's a cool name. I never knew the name
right?
of it. I use the term feral all the time. So yes, that's a cool name.
Yeah. So I actually do have a code, and I have bought some outfits from them before. Very, very comfy. And they have really awesome designs, not to mention you're supporting someone local and a small business. So let me tell you a little bit about them.
And pretty groundbreaking, because this is our first actual advertisement.
Yes, it is. So
this is groundbreaking.
This is a new thing.
So, yes.
So this is Feral Mama is an alternative brand that was started by Gretchen, a mother of 4 who lives in Cleveland, Ohio.
All right.
Gretchen is a trained doula, though not currently practicing. She has a passion for motherhood and supporting other mothers. After struggling with mental illness herself, she strives to break the stigma around it, especially for postpartum women. And postpartum does not end after you give birth to the baby. It actually keeps going.
Doesn't it get worse after the child?
Sometimes it can. Yeah. The other thing is too, postpartum remains. Even though Casper's 1 year old now, which he celebrated his birthday on the 15th, so happy birthday to my son.
Yes.
But it still keeps going. A lot of mothers and even fathers deal with it all the time.
So if you randomly punch me, that's what I blame it on?
Yes.
Cool. All right.
After Gretchen gave birth to her little one, she struggled to find a community of mothers like herself, which I totally understand. It really sucks. There's not very many alternative parents, and it's very hard to gather everybody up. So she later created an Instagram page with the intent of it being an alternative motherhood community page, and it later transformed into her business. She's been in business for 4 years. As of right now, she'll be celebrating the anniversary of her business in March. But really, it kind of kicked off soon after the pandemic. The friendship she found through Feral Mama became very close, and they all supported each other through the lockdowns and navigated through motherhood through it. Gretchen says she is grateful for this community and what it means to each individual in it. So I think that is really cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Just knowing about her and her history and the story behind Feral Mama. She honestly has, like I said, a lot of comfy t-shirts with spooky designs. Yes, it's mostly for mamas. However, a lot of these designs do come, and t-shirts come in unisex options. So that way, if there's any papas out there, or even any spooky other caregivers that would like to support her, you're welcome to do so. Some of her popular designs include her Feral Mama logo tee, Mental Health Matters tee, with an awesome design that features kind of like a half anatomical heart and a brain design. It's very cool. And of course, the coolest design being the Badass Mama tees for, you to tell the whole world who the fuck you are. Currently, a lot of these designs are for pre-order, but she also sells kids shirts from time to time, as well as hoodies, patches, crew neck, long sleeve shirts, patches, pins, mugs, and some really, honestly, really super cute like bags. She has one called, I think, the Jackie bag, and it's like this cute like little black bag with a purple jack-o'-lantern face on it. Like, it's very cute.
Are we talking like clutch? Are we talking purse? Are we talking like tote bag?
I think
type?
it's like a little, what do you call it? The little kangaroo pouch.
I wish people could see the shimmy.
Yeah,
that you're literally
I
doing
just
right
did
now.
it. I just did a little Elvis shimmy. So imagine that, but in goth. So this is where the fun part comes in. You can actually use my code. Yes, my code.
Yes, your own code. That's fucking cool.
Oscura Ivy. That's OSCURAIVY to get 10% off your first order using the link in the description, which we do have in the description of the video once this goes to YouTube, and we have it on our Instagram page.
I was gonna say we'll blast that thing everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll even run it on mine too.
Nice.
Yep.
And basically, you would just click the link. The link is feralmamashop.com /Oscura Ivy. And I'll repeat that again, feralmamashop.com /Oscura Ivy. By supporting her, you all will be helping us to continue to do what we do.
Sweet.
So it's a win-win for everybody. I do want to remind you, though, she is a one person running her own business. One woman with the 4 kids. It can take anywhere between 14 to 21 business days to receive your order. So do not rush her.
That's not bad though. Honestly, for one person show, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That really isn't. I've ordered stuff from big companies that's taken that long. So hopefully that shouldn't be a big deal to all y'all.
Yeah. So go out and support your local Feral Mama today. Remember to support small business, women, and of course, badass mamas everywhere.
There we go.
Yes.
All right. I'm excited about that. Having our first ad, like, that's cool. And I was noticing too that for anyone that follows YouTube, I will give a little shout out to Luke. So I like to recommend people to subscribe to us on YouTube because we'll have episodes and we'll talk about movies or actors or scenes or whatever. And Luke does a really good job of like clipping those in. So like, for example, the ABC's of the characters.
Horror, yeah.
So when we were talking about that, Luke cut in pictures so you all knew who we were talking about. So if I can encourage you all listening to our podcast, but then also subscribing on YouTube gives a whole nother kind of dimension to it. And it really showcases like Luke's talents and abilities. And I really love and appreciate that. So, if you can subscribe, follow to us on YouTube, it definitely adds a different experience to our podcast, I will say.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is too, like,
and we're almost to 50. We're almost to 50.
Are we really?
We're at 46 on YouTube.
We're making it, man.
So we're almost to 50.
And we're still in its infancy.
That's right.
So it's okay. I mean, hell, we just got our first ad.
That's right.
So we're all new and it's all good.
And if she needs me to wear a crop top, that's totally good.
Oh my God. All right. We can do it. Yeah. I mean, you got to bring that shit back. They had it in the 80s. We just need to keep doing that.
Yeah.
So was there anything else that you wanted to add before we get into the movie?
Yes. So I was going to tell a really quick story.
Sure.
But anyway, so Pantera and Lamb of God are touring.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, that's going to be a massive, massive tour. But the new thing that happened to me was my dog, little Peter Johnson, got out on my day off. Yes.
Oh my
It was
God.
crazy. So I'm going to like shut my door. Peter sees a rabbit. He goes off, takes off after it. I'm running. We run like a half a mile. My dog just like is having the time of his life. He'll
He's
stop
free.
and look at me, and I'm like, Peter, yelling at him. I'm cussing everything. And he just keeps going. So I get to a point where I'm like, oh shit, I'm far enough away from my house that it's wide open. I probably need to go lock it because I cannot catch him. So I go back to my house, lock the door, get in my car, drive down the road to see where I think he's gone. I park, go and walk a field, get into my car, come back, go the other direction. Then I'm like, screw this. I go back to my house. I pull in. Peter comes out around the house.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh my God, my dog. And he sees me and he gets excited. And we have this like where we're going to embrace like we're long lost lovers reunited. And he comes around to my car and this little dog dick just goes right by me. No embrace, no loving hug, no, I catch him. Oh, and he had the leash dragging the whole time.
Oh my God.
The leash is dragging behind him. So he takes off down the other way. And I'm like, you dog dick. So I go and run the opposite direction. By this time, he's running a creek. He's all dirty as shit. So we go back. I have to give up again because Peter's not coming. I laid on the ground, called him. He would run right by me. So I go back, go to my house, and I'm like, this turd is smart enough, he'll find his way back. So I go and leave the door open while he comes back and stands right by my porch. Doesn't come in. I try to lure him with treats.
Yeah.
To make a long story short, he gets underneath an area of my house. And I hear him running around underneath, and I hear shit moving around.
Oh my
So
God.
I have to go stick my head underneath this area, and I don't know if it's my dog or not. I don't know what's there.
Oh,
so I'm like
shit.
sticking my head into this black hole, and I'm like hoping that my dog comes and it's not a raccoon
Right.
gonna eat my face off. So I finally call him, and then here's his two little eyes, and he's coming out, and so I grab him. Oh, I was so pissed, but so happy at the same time. It was such an interesting contrast. So yeah, I spent a good part of my day off this week hunting for little Peter Johnson.
Oh my God. I love that.
And then I had to give him a bath too.
Oh yeah.
He
on top
smelled
of
like
that.
a swamp. I called him Swamp Dog. Yeah, so yeah, I had to give
He's
him
your
a
little
bath.
swamp thing.
He is. Peter Johnson was in trouble. That big old dog dick.
I love how you said that. That big old dog went right past me.
Yeah, I was so pissed because it was like the airport scene in romance movies where
right.
you lock eyes and you come for each other.
Yeah.
And he stood me up. He just said, "Nah, bitch," and just woo, ran right by me.
With the fucking thing trailing
Yeah,
behind.
with his leash just trailing and dragging. So yeah, that was my only little story to tell. My dog is a nutcase, so I'm sure this probably won't be the only story you hear from him. But I adopted. So speaking of, go support local shelters, adopt dogs. There's so many of them. My dog Pete, when we looked at him, nobody had looked at him. He had been in the shelter for I think 2 months. Nobody literally had brought him into the visitation center. We were the first people to.
Aw.
He was so great, sat down by us. We were sold. We knew he was the one for us. So go support your local shelters, please, if you are going to adopt.
Yes, absolutely. And just a little bit of sad news, but I feel like we should address it.
Yeah. It wasn't the same coming in here.
Yeah. So our kitty cat Gemini, who I'm sure you've seen in a couple videos
And
running
heard.
around.
And heard.
Yep.
Yep.
She passed away on Monday. We knew it was coming. She had feline leukemia, and unfortunately she was only 4 years old. But again, pet visit, or the vet visit, they told us, hey, she could pull through from this, or it could lay dormant and then, unfortunately rear its ugly head in 3 to 4 years. And that's what happened. So it's not the same without her here. It's a very quiet house.
It is, yeah.
No one to really greet you when you come up. She used to greet Mark all the time.
Oh, she would sit on my lap during like every episode.
Yep.
Every episode.
Begging for attention.
Yes.
She was a little slut.
Yes.
Love that about her. But yeah, we're going to miss her. But here's hoping, for a better future.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully, maybe later on we'll get another animal, but
it takes time.
I'm not quite ready yet.
No need to rush.
And I don't think Casper really is ready yet. He just got a accumulated to Gemini, and Gemini got accumulated to him, and
Yeah.
that's just life, though. And she's, we're taking good care of her, and we took good care of her, and just waiting for her remains to come back, and she'll be with us again eventually.
Cool.
Yeah. But on a happier note,
Yes.
we should probably start to watch that movie. I'm going to have you distract for a little bit.
Sure,
I'm going
sure.
to pull up the synopsis.
Okay, yeah, no. So have been interested in this movie for a hot minute now. I saw a preview. I have a love-hate / relationship for movies that are like low budget and not full on, like big picture, companies. So I was looking forward to that. Didn't realize, it's kind of a Midwestern thing. So I was definitely excited about that. But the synopsis you'll find is not very long, and I am so curious for you to read it because I read it before we started and it did not have a lot to it. So I know that this is a Tubi exclusive, but yeah, I'm totally excited for you to read the synopsis.
All right, so
it's a long one.
It is. So the synopsis of the movie, or at least what it gives here on IMDb, is: while exploring a decrepit and abandoned facility, an auspicious photographer faces off against her traumatic past.
There you go.
That's pretty much it.
Short and sweet. It does have a 4.8 on IMDb, which should be interesting. I'd never really give two shits about those ratings, so.
Yeah, because, it could even be hit or miss, because there are times where it has a really bad rating, but you know what? It has an awesome entertainment score.
Yeah. And to me too, I look for the story, because it's like, I understand if you don't have the budget and you can't have like all the effects and all that shit, but if it has a really good story, that's something that a budget doesn't affect. If you have a good story to tell, like that's what I'm mostly interested in for a lot of these films like that. If the story is really good, and I don't care as much about the, effects and all that stuff.
Yeah. So that's our initial thoughts going in. We'll eventually have after the live stream, we will actually have a review. Any of you guys watching, if you happen to jump in, late, that is totally fine. I mean, it's on Tubi, so it's free.
Yep.
If you want to watch it later, that's fine. And then maybe look back on it. We would like to have some participation if anybody does happen to join and just basically say, hey, afterwards we're going to be doing a movie review. What are your thoughts on it? And maybe we can talk about those thoughts on air. So let's get down to it. Let's go ahead and try to get that movie off the ground. We'll be starting here in just a little bit. Just bear with us. Like I said, we're pretty new to this.
Yes, we plan on doing more of these. So we're kind of working out the kinks in this first one, and hopefully ones we do in the future can be more interactive and we'll be kind of more polished up and better suited to do more of these.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, let's get to the movie.
Yeah.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star,
Sometimes in life you get dealt a hand you don't know how to play. Sometimes someone gets an idea in their brain. Doesn't matter if it's true or not. An idea on its own can be more than enough to make it real.
It's okay to cry, little star.
All right, welcome back in. We have a movie to discuss.
Yeah. So I know this Discord event was a bit of a, we were just trial and error.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one joined, to being very honest. But this was good practice.
Yes, which we didn't have a clue. Like, I don't have the Discord
Yeah, I
app
know
downloaded.
nothing.
Yeah, and we realized, hey, that we can be, communicating with y'all while watching the movie. So I was like, that's really cool in the future. So I'm totally okay that this kind of flopped as far as viewers, which I don't really give a shit because we're
Yeah.
just kind of hammering this stuff out. So that is something we want to do in the future. And I know I was even talking about like, hey, I'll rent us like a current in theaters movie. We can stream that bitch and do it on Discord. So if you want to watch a free movie, like a free current movie, we'll let you know. And then we can interact and stuff like that too. So I thought that would be kind of a cool idea to do in the future.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll do more polls and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll make it work out. Like I said, this was just kind of a trial and error thing. But we're glad we tried it out. I think this is fun, and this could be something we could do in the future.
Oh, definitely. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, on to it.
yes.
I
on to
know you're
thoughts.
excited to talk.
So this movie, the score I don't feel is warranted. That's on IMDb.
A little bit. I mean, a little bit lower than what it should be. I don't know. I'm such a tough judge. They give it a 4.8. I would give it a 5.8 if I.
Oh yeah, being nice.
Yeah.
So let's kind of dive into the movie a little bit.
So I know, first of all, the male lead character. In the beginning, Ivy had kind of said something, but to me, I think I kind of rationalized it by describing that he talks as if he's giving a speech.
Yes.
So yes, all his lines are read as if he's almost giving a speech. Is what I kind of thought.
And it's like so the main character is Brooke.
Brooke, yeah.
And we first open up with a scene where it's traumatic. This poor girl has seen her father kill himself.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
and then
not
it
a lot
goes
of
to
background.
them. And it goes to them like exploring abandoned houses.
Places, yeah.
Which is cool. Should we do that? I think we should.
Which is cool. Yeah, absolutely. I'm all over that shit. I'm telling you,
Well,
like,
we
I'm the
need to
big dumb
go-
idiot. I will go head first into that shit.
We need to go find some abandoned houses. We need to go stake them out. If you guys know of any, let us know.
Yep.
Let's do it. Let's film that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have my boar spear.
Yeah, you do.
I'll bring, yes.
Just in case.
It's this big ass spear, yeah. It's also kind of like a walking stick too, because it's metal, and then it has like a knife that's like that long in the
Holy
edge.
shit.
Yeah, it's made to kill boar.
Well, okay. That could almost be scary considering what we just saw in this movie.
I will try not to turn it on you.
Yeah, so we'll get to that.
Yeah.
And basically, the film goes along setting up, different plot points because they're they're exploring these abandoned houses.
Yeah.
And taking pictures because they're both photographers. And she's got like a grant. She's got grant money for her photography and all that good stuff. And she's there with her friend Tanner.
We think. I don't know if it was brother or friend.
It definitely not brother.
Yes, that's right, because we talked about that.
Because
yes.
she does have and there's a later funeral scene where it reveals that she has a younger sister.
Yeah, that's right.
4 years younger or whatever. So yeah. But she's there with her boyfriend, friend. We don't know who the hell he is. But
his friend. He was too.
Oh my god! Like you said, okay. Here's my thing with Tanner. Love this actor Andrew Bales did a great job, but by God, there were some times where I feel like he could have just maybe reset his lines or like you don't want to do a different take of that.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's
let's try that one over.
It's very mechanical the way he talks.
It is.
And I'm not saying it's bad, but you could definitely tell like maybe he did more theater production stuff than he did film.
And he did a better job towards the end too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because he is so hammy in this and such a fucking coward. Maybe that's just his character.
No, that's
Oh,
the
my
guy plays
God.
it really well because he is a scrawny little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a little nerdly kind of looking guy.
And I'm not going to lie, like, his character. Okay, first off, Mark, are you familiar with Clone High?
Clone High, no. What?
It's a cartoon.
Okay, yeah.
It's very bizarre. It's basically about historical figures being cloned, and they turn into they're teenagers.
They're teenagers?
And they're all
Okay.
going to a school called Clone High, and they're all intermingling with each other.
Okay.
Well, my point that I'm getting at is this dude looks like one of the characters in that, and I couldn't get over. I was like, this dude just looks like Christopher Columbus cloned.
Christopher Columbus.
And of
Oh.
course, because he's like canceled, they call him in the show Topher Bus.
Oh. Wow. Okay, interesting.
So I'm like, this dude that's all I could see is Topher Bus every time I looked at this guy. And like at the end when he like finally like breaks, yes, there's spoilers in this review, but like he just looked like this fucking weasel of a gremlin guy.
Yeah.
It was very funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they go on, they have a friend that picks them up. CJ.
Yep.
We were so confused.
I know.
Where the fuck is she going?
Yeah, she just would like drop them off, but like they're in the middle of nowhere.
Mhm.
So
Where's
it's
she
like,
going?
where? Yeah, what is she doing? Like, she drops them off and then comes around and picks them up. It was just, it was awkward. It was just weird. I didn't get it.
Like, okay, in all actuality, let's put up the scenario this way. If it was just you and I going to explore this creepy ass cabin in the woods, and Luke was just, there for the ride.
Yeah.
I would feel like he'd come in with us.
Exactly. Yeah. Like park the car and come in with us, not just like drive around. But then it's like, if it's just this abandoned area, where the hell are you gonna drive around?
Right.
Because later on in the movie, she says it's 25 miles to like the nearest town or whatever. So like, where is she going? It was
Like,
just weird.
The other thing is too, like, okay, I understand because she did make a reference. They said, hey, do you want to come in with us? They did invite her.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I don't want to be around that black mold and huffing hallucinogenics. And they joked around and said, since when do you not want to huff hallucinogenics? That sort of shit. Which they set up later.
Yeah.
Because apparently this black mold also causes Tanner to get a really bad headache.
He's sensitive to allergies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that comes into play later. They're setting all this up. But they then go to like this abandoned asylum.
I don't know. Building? I don't know what the building was.
Yeah, a prison? I'm not sure.
I don't think it was a prison because I didn't see any locked gate areas or anything like that.
That's true.
It might have been an asylum or something like that because they said in the beginning, but I forget.
Yeah, we also had a crying baby earlier. Casper. But they go there and there's some weirdo just chilling out there.
Little home bum.
Yeah. And he is saying something about they're trying to get me, and also they sent you. Who's they?
We never find out.
We don't. The other thing is too, like I love the whole back and forth scene that they were having where they were trying to lock him out.
Yeah.
And they're just like, they're hamming it up big time.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to reason with them outside the door, which I get, it would definitely be a scary situation, but they accidentally pepper spray the chick.
Yeah, he just pepper sprays her right in the face. I love that the bum had a Donatello staff.
Right.
That was awesome.
Like you mentioned, like, there's a scene where they're talking together. Mark's just like, I just want him to hit her.
Just grab that Donatello staff and just boop her on the face.
Right. Just like, and it just made me think of like Rafiki from The Lion King, it's like, boop. But yeah. But they get to talking, and the one guy, the homeless guy, keeps going on like, you can't do anything after sundown. You got to stay in here, which they're really setting up. And really, in all actuality, in this situation, you got two choices. You could leave, or you could stay, where this mold apparently causes hallucinogens.
Yeah. So and that was my thing. I was saying is like, okay, so we can just go out the front door and go walk to the nearest town or just go for a pleasant walk in the fresh air and not get the black mold. But they choose to not do that. And then they said it was like 25 miles. I'm like, okay, that's cake. Not a big deal. Walk 25 miles. You could probably do that in 3 hours. Not a bad deal.
Right.
And you're getting some fresh air. Maybe you'll get picked up along the way. But yeah, it just was, I found it pretty funny that they just continued to stay there and deal with the black mold, even though it's obviously, causing circles around their eyes and mouth.
Yeah. Especially like, it looked cold. It looked cold, maybe in there or on the outside, like maybe it was like mid-fall.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, like, it's daylight. Might as well leave while there's daylight.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, someone will pick you up eventually.
Yeah. Or if not, it's just a 3-hour walk.
Right.
Like you do the first 2 in daylight and the last hour in dark. That's not a big deal.
Here's hoping, though, that at least, like, there's at least some sort of, like, I don't know, not necessarily a rest stop. Yeah, there's a town, but, there's always, like, the weird gas station out in the
there's
middle of
always
nowhere or something weird.
Yeah. I just found that weird that it was just like, you can just, like, leave and go for a walk.
Yeah,
and then
right.
Problems solved. Movie's over.
Right? And, like, they destroy, or, like, that one guy, the bum, destroys half their collection of pictures.
Yeah, their film, he destroys it.
Yeah, and it was anything that they took in that particular area that they were
shot,
in.
yeah.
Yeah. But then, later on, Tanner makes a really funny comment.
Yes.
Just the fucking, you think he's a werewolf?
Yeah, and then that
like,
immediately got me and you interested. We were like, oh my gosh, is this going to be a secret werewolf flick?
I would have been all for it.
God, yeah.
Fucking love werewolves.
Yes,
so
that would have been awesome.
That would have been cool. Sadly, yes and no, this happens.
Mildly.
Yeah.
Mildly. We had a change, but not any killings.
Right. And like, so basically we're kind of in the middle of the movie now at this point.
Yeah.
Where there's like a flashback scene to her being a child.
Yeah.
And it was all plastered all over like the movie trailers and everything like that, where it really caught my interest because of course it takes place at a funeral home. So I'm like, oh, that looks cool. Where the casket starts rocking and shit like that. And it's really freaky. And, she's by herself. And it does some straight up Werewolf of London shit where like the dad comes back to life and comforts her, and that little girl's like, honestly, she's crying her heart out and she's doing a really good job acting. They could have found an actress though that looked more like the grown-up actress, because
still
whatever, but that's beside the point. That's hard. I have to keep reminding myself that this is an independent film. So good on them actually for finding and scoping out the areas that you're going to film at, because those are beautiful.
Yeah,
and I feel like
they were good areas. Yeah,
I feel like some of those were actually real, like abandoned places.
Yeah, they had to be. They had to be real abandoned places.
Like they look great.
Yeah,
and those are really good job for you. I believe you. What's the name of the director? His last name's
Papa or something like that.
Is it Pata or something?
Yeah.
What's your name, sir?
Something like that.
John Pata.
Pata. Oh, that.
Yeah. Thank you,
Pata. He making the movie films.
Yes. This is like his 5th one, I think.
Yeah. He did like Go-Go the Clown or something,
yeah,
or Goes or
Gags the Clown.
Gags
in 2018.
The Clown. Oh.
He's an editor for that one.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I remember. Okay, so we were talking about that funeral scene, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Pata, for giving us a little bit of funny.
A little bit of something.
Yeah, that was pretty funny, actually, because she later confronts her dad, her dad's comforting her, and it's going to be okay, but let me give you a little piece of my mind.
And then reaches back and pulls his brains out and gives it to her.
And just literally takes a page out of Peter Jackson's book.
Yep.
It was pretty funny, honestly.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And then, of course, Tanner is looking for CJ.
Yes.
Because she's still gone.
Yep, still, we have no idea where she is. Driving around somewhere. She's in the middle of nowhere, in the field, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. She's missing, and she starts acting creepy and freaks the hell out of Tanner, and he's just like, no, I'm not, because what she say? Something like, follow me,
Yeah, follow me, I need 2 more minutes of just exploring or something like that. Yeah, it was kind of weird, and she's strangely not really fully turning around, kind of adding to a mystique or mysteriousness and stuff, and goes into another building, and then that prompts Tanner's little episode.
Yes, where like all of a sudden, she's talking to him, and then he turns around, and then a jump scare, and there's 3 fucking scarecrows there.
Yep.
And of course, go ahead.
I was going to say, of course, he, in the beginning of the movie, said he's scared of scarecrows. That's like one of his biggest fears.
Yeah, after he gets like, in the beginning of the movie, he gets scared by like a coat that's chilling there.
Yeah, that's hanging at the top of the stairs.
Right. he's a quirky dude.
Yeah.
But then, like, yeah, he full on speeds right back to wherever the hell the homeless guy and the girl are at.
Yeah.
And at this point, the girl goes nuts on the dude.
Yeah.
Like, she literally is like, you know, stop talking to me like you're my father and all this. And I really do think she's hallucinating here. Like,
I think so too.
Like, it's not really happening, and it's cut in a way where, like, are they setting up that, like, because it's the same actor that's playing the dad and the bum, are they setting up that it really is him? He didn't die.
Yeah, and then he talks about how his girls are 4 years apart, and she's 4 years older than her younger sister.
Too many coincidences.
Yeah, I was kind of like, okay.
That'd be an odd setup. Like, how would you explain that one? Are there really they-thems that are, like, trying to invade them and stuff like that, and there's some duplicates, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of shit? But no, that doesn't happen.
No.
But after she has her episode and just about tries to kill the man, fucking Tanner goes nuts.
Yes.
And that's where we get our kind of sort of werewolf scene.
Yes, he kind of full on changes to a werewolf.
Yep.
In his mind, but in reality, the poor homeless guy isn't really doing anything but cowering in the corner.
Yeah, and Brooke is like, what the hell is your friend, Brooke, well, he's talking to Brooke like, what the hell's your friend doing?
Yeah, like, what's he doing? Yeah.
And Brooke's seeing that he's not changing. Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
But this Tanner guy is completely convinced that he is becoming a werewolf.
Yes.
And he sees it. And it has the whole back transformation and everything. It was actually pretty fun.
Yeah. And it's the only time he got courage in the entire movie.
True.
Yeah.
He actually had the courage to pick up whatever that blade or
it was a piece of
broken
siding
something.
or some shit. I don't know.
Whatever. It was enough to stab the man
A
to
sharp metal object.
death. And stab them that he does.
Yes, he does.
Dead.
Repeatedly. Yeah.
Dead. That's it. And like Brooke is cowering in the corner now.
Yeah.
And is like, oh, what the fuck did you do?
Yeah. And then I wanted them to end it as just like, hey, remember that time we killed that bum in the
Right.
in the abandoned warehouse, and then like have that be their story that they tell
Right.
friends and family moving on, and then
especially
that's
for,
the end
like-
of the movie.
Especially for like their like, I don't know if this was their college project or what the hell they
Yeah.
were. They looked way too old to be in college. But
Yeah.
also at the same time, granted, there are people that join college later in life.
Yeah.
But like they almost made them sound like they were much younger than they actually looked. These actors are definitely in their 40s.
Yeah, I just keep thinking like, bro, remember that time we were tripping on black mold and I stabbed that homeless bum to death in that warehouse? That was crazy,
Crazy. You missed a good time, CJ.
Yeah, I totally thought he was turning into a werewolf.
Oh, yeah,
But like, he really wasn't. So I just murdered him for no reason. It was so great.
That was the other thing. Like, she runs back out at some point and she discovers that CJ's dead, apparently.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. She like, it was like raining and like her dead dad comes back and is comforting her again and like points her to CJ dead in the car. And it's
he's like, I had to do it. They
Yeah.
were, I thought she was they or whatever. I don't know, them.
the bum guy did.
Yeah.
And so we don't actually know if CJ's actually dead or not.
Yeah, no, because it could be just a hallucination, or she still could be driving around to this day.
Right?
Driving around waiting for him to pick him up.
Because he knocked him out very soon after, like, he's found them, after the pepper spray incident. Like,
Yeah.
So it's very possible she could have died, but I really don't know that for a fact.
We do not know.
Other than that, like, end of the movie, she sees Tanner stab the shit out of this homeless guy.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, he starts talking smack to her.
Yes.
And we discover as an audience, even though we figured it out earlier, that she's tripping balls right now.
She is, yes. So
He's talking smack. He's like, hey, you're the reason your father died and killed himself.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
So her story now becomes, hey, remember that time I was in a warehouse tripping on black mold and my friend stabbed the homeless guy because she thought he was a werewolf and then I killed him because I thought he was trying to kill me.
Yep.
That's her story now.
That's her story.
That's a pretty cool story.
Because that's where the movie fucking ends. I can't. Okay, so I will say thank you, John, again, for giving us a very interesting ending.
Yes.
Because, like, it literally had this weird hard cut where from one moment, she killed Tanner.
Yep.
She's on her knees, like, why did I do this?
Yeah.
Platoon style. And then all of a sudden, hard smash cut.
The room that they're in changes to like what
the red room.
Yeah, and I thought it was an insane asylum at first, but then you see the red lights and you realize it's like some sort of classroom or some shit where they have a dark room. And then it goes into a dark room and you see a lady, which could be our main character Brooke, could be her younger sister, what I thought it might have been too.
Right.
Developing film that I guess wasn't tarnished by the bum.
And it was all the film from the previous two houses that they were exploring.
Yeah, so there was apparently a roll of film left over, but you do not know who was developing it.
We just
so could there be Black Mold 2?
Oh, right.
We've got Smile 2, so we might as well have Black Mold 2.
Yes, and the thing was about that movie, I was just like, no, that can't be it. Like that's it. I mean, okay, where else would you go from there? I guess did she get found? Did she travel all the way back on foot? What the fuck happened there? How is she allowed to keep her job if that is her?
Yeah, and she gets away with murder. I'd like to think she backpacks in Europe and gets wasted and tells that story.
Right.
Of how she stabbed her friend who...
And a guy that looked just like my dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, my friend thought this guy was a werewolf, so he fucking stabbed the shit out of him and killed him. And then I thought he was coming to kill me, so I killed him. That's a great story.
I do like, though, it was very creative how, like, over the credits, like, you know, when she's developing all the film, that's when the credits roll.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
That was unique. I was like, I can't recall that I've really seen that. I may have, but not anything that sticks out.
That was very unique.
Where we're still watching the end of the movie, but we're seeing credits rolled in. So it's not like, you know, you've seen that with the ending where they'll have like a message or whatever conveyed at the end of the movie. But this was literally like the last maybe 3 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
They started rolling the credits in. So I thought that was interesting. Kind of unique. I like that.
That was unique. But overall thoughts on the movie. Okay, like I said, I will give it this for an independent film. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I mean, I had some idea with all the beat points that they were setting up, but like you didn't do the typical tropes of, oh, there's this weird alien shit going on and we got a weird monster that's going to come in and fuck everything up, you know? That didn't happen.
Yeah.
It was just hallucinations.
So based off IMDb's 4.8 out of 10, what would you go with?
So like you said, being really generous with it, I would probably give it... I would give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I don't think it's great. I don't think it's good, but it's very unique.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would necessarily watch it again, but I definitely would recommend it to somebody if they are interested. If they happen to bring it up, I'd be like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
It was good. It was interesting.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know if it cut it off in the previous recording, but I started to say 5.8, but then it got a 0.2 deduction for lack of titties. So there were no titties in this movie.
With two female characters.
So no titties. So you get deduction of 0.2 points. So I would do 5.6 is what I would rate this movie. I would say that unless you are a horror movie lover, you probably would not enjoy this flick. I think only like the hardcore people that enjoy kind of shitty made horror movies would kind of like this because it wasn't like extremely low budget shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, hey, we're going to make a comedy spoof like type low budget shit. It was like they try to make a good movie and there's some parts that are interesting. Wouldn't need to watch it again. Once is enough for me, but that's with a lot of movies too. So, but I'll go better than what IMDb did. So I'll do a 5.6.
Yeah, like you said, like it's shot very well. It looks nice.
It does look nice. That's the bright spot of it, in my opinion. I would say it's definitely visually it was good.
And story-wise, even it's not bad. It definitely keeps you guessing. It doesn't, like I said, doesn't follow through with like stereotypical tropes and shit like that. Like at least it takes you on different turns, which is very good. And I can see why it made its rounds during film festivals in 2023.
Yeah, like I'd like to see what the director would do with a better cast, a better script writer, and a bigger budget.
Right.
He could pull off something pretty damn interesting, I feel like. So that would be kind of my 2 cents.
And the cast did great for what they had, don't get us wrong, but you could definitely see where they were cutting corners. I'm pretty sure that was a very fake beard that bum had.
Oh, yeah.
And the enhanced breath, like, was very funny.
Touch,
because it's like cold in the room and it looks like it's fall.
Yeah.
When they're shooting, but like it's just times where it's just like the breath doesn't quite sync up, and I couldn't tell if this was it enhanced, was it actually cold, was it digitally added in post?
Yeah.
It was kind of weird. But overall, not bad. I did not like all the silly little jump scares at the beginning.
I didn't even think there were jump scares.
Well, okay, that's the thing. For us, because we're desensitized to it, no, they're not jump scares at all. But you could tell they were trying to set
make
up
them
some sort of jump scare. And it was like, that's really silly. Don't do that again. Don't do it ever again.
No, it's pretty distasteful.
But yeah, that was Black Mold.
That concludes, Black Mold, our first little Discord type, I don't know,
watch party movie.
Yeah, watch party thingy.
But if you'd like for us to do these again, I think regardless if you do or not, we will still try to do these more often.
Yeah, especially because if it catches on more, it can be really cool for like interaction and shit.
Yeah.
I definitely think, because I know I have some stupid ass thoughts during some of these movies that I would love to share with you folks. So that could definitely be entertaining.
And it would be really fun, like, as we're watching it, it's like you're in the room with us and we do our little MST3K, like, commentary over the top, because there was a couple times where you had some funny things that you said.
Yes. Sweet. Well, I guess that ends it for us.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys again. We will be covering a very interesting topic that you all have recommended multiple times to us. Potentially a little episode about horror anime and J-horror.
The shit I know nothing about. So let's bring it on. I am cool with that.
All right. Well, thank you all so much again.
With being said, look after each other and good night, cellar dwellers. Bye bye.